Messiah. Last night, Karen and I went out with him and his girlfriend. And this guy knows more about beer than most people have forgotten. All right? And I tell you what, if you talk to him for 15, 20 minutes, you're like, how the hell does he know all that? And it's true, man. It's like, he's got it all down. He is the Messiah!
Yeah!
Here's the Ohio beer! All right! I dressed up as best I could. I knew I was going to be next to Holly over there. I figured I better put my best stuff on, you know. I got my Barry Alexander shirt, you know, the glasses, the hipster shorts, put the hat on, you know. I got to try to, I'll still never match the beauty over there, but, you know, I did my best with that. So anyway, that's Ohio beer is what we're drinking, and it's great to see everybody doing it. And I'll tell you, we have finally arrived, says the Messiah. Maybe want to know why you brought somebody from all the way from Buffalo, New York, even if I am a Messiah. But I'll tell you, an interesting story is my journey in many ways actually first started in Ohio. I was a home brewer for several years, and I decided that I was going to follow my other passion and do some writing, so I decided to write about beer. And I sent an article, I sent a query letter to a magazine called American Brewer back in the early 1990s, and my idea was accepted, and the story was Brewing in the Heartland. And it was actually a story and a resume of what has been happening in Ohio in terms of small breweries. So I drove through the state, started in Youngstown, Ohio. I know there might be some of you from Youngstown. Then I shot over to Cleveland and hit Great Lakes, hit another small, now defunct Australian-themed brew pub that had opened in Strongsville. And then I headed down through, hit Dayton, of course, stopped in Columbus. There were a couple of breweries still there, and ended up Cincinnati, and then I headed further south. But, you know, it was one of the first stories I ever wrote. It was about Ohio beer, and, you know, right now I can just see we've come an amazingly long ways. At that time, I think the story contained 6 to 8 different breweries in the state. 10 years later, it was up to 20, and another 3 or 4 years later, it was up to 30, and as of today, and I just talked to my brewery guru who keeps track of all these things, Roger Kilpatrick. I don't know if he's still around, but he's been tracking this stuff for a while. He said now in Ohio there are 75 breweries that are going strong and open. Well, that's amazing growth. And you got to think of it in terms of this growth is also in what we supposedly have an economic downturn. Now they say a lot of times when there's an economic downturn, people drink a little more, so you know that might be part of it. But I think the big thing is, you know, a lot of these breweries, and if you're a craft beer drinker, you know that they're a little more cautious than just the alcohol delivery device that we have from the mainstream brewers. You know, they actually have flavor and taste, and they're made by local people, and they're made by independent people. So that growth is amazing. And according to Roger, online now and ready to open in Ohio is, and it's the big mark, and so many states try, there are over 100 breweries that are going to want to open in this town, in this state.
Yeah!
So that's Ohio beer. Then I want to mention, all right. Then I want to mention, in terms of the song that Steve did. You know, you can never underestimate the power of the song. As a matter of fact, my speech is going to be kind of short because he took away a lot of the themes that I was going to touch on. So, you know, you can thank him for that. But, you know, Michigan has a fight song, their state fight song, and I know how much people love Michigan in this place. Ohioans and Michigan, I know how much they love each other. That's supposed to be a joke. Yeah, all hail to Michigan beer, blah, blah, blah. Well, Ohio's got a song, and, you know, it's just, you know, it helps to build momentum and helps to build legacy here. And, you know, I think that, you know, this is evidence from all the bar owners that I've seen. And bar owners are a really good gauge. I know that brewers listen to them a lot because they're kind of a conservative lot, and they look at things and they decide what's going to sell and what's going to keep them in business and not. And so they, you know, they don't want to. They're sometimes a little afraid to test the waters. And from the ones I've talked to in this town, they're like really excited about this. They're business has increased, and so it's a real positive thing. And just as important and most important and very characteristic, particularly of Jackie O's, is that they're really supporting local businesses. You know, I know we had lunch in here yesterday, and so much of the meal that we had, and of course the beers that we drank, were made locally and brought locally. It's just it's such an essential concept in terms of supporting your local brewers. There are parts of the brewing system that still need work. You know, the distribution side of things is built for an entirely different model, and it needs to change because, and the reality is that 75 brewers and maybe 100 brewers in 6 months are going to make a change between them and the consumers. You and I, we're going to tell them, look, this is what we want, and they're going to have to change their model. I've already seen it happening, when they used to just poo-poo these small little brewers and hang on to whether it was Anheuser-Busch or Miller or Coors or whatever the big brewery was, that are of course now all owned by 2 giant companies that are international. So these are American-owned beers, by the way. Anyway, they're starting to hear it. They're starting to hear the fact that local is, people want something local, and they're changing their tunes slowly but surely. They're big monolith corporations, but they need to change because we're forcing them to. And we're forcing them to by the beer we're drinking. So once more, let's raise a pint to Ohio Brew. I'll be around to talk. I'm glad I can talk beer forever with anybody. So please seek me out if you have a question or a comment. And last of all, thanks to Dan for bringing me down here.
So to finalize things, again,